Well, hello, all you humans and fellow VTuber simps. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be taking a closer look at a VTuber which I've never checked out before, named Mirai Akari. Now, rather than just diving right into a music video of hers and reacting to it, I wanted to know more about this particular VTuber because I was told she was one of the original 4 Heavenly Kings, which my understanding is basically the ones who helped propel VTuber into stardom so that other people around the world were more exposed to the VTuber community. So I'm really interested to see what is available. I found a couple of clips online based on the title that may give me insight into the character themselves. As far as lore goes, I did read the wiki fandom page so I could have a little insight into who Mirai Akari was. And it turns out she was supposed to be some kind of time traveler who came back from the future to perform some kind of test that she doesn't remember. So this particular set of videos that I found hopefully will give me a little more insight into Mirai Akari. Now the first video I'm watching is called The VTuber Anime That Everyone Forgot by NEET by Nature. This one, from what I can understand on the thumbnail, is starring her as one of an ensemble of characters.
4 years ago, the anime viewing audience was presented a unique new show, Virtual-san wa Miteiru, or Virtual-san Looking. Starring an ensemble cast of various VTubers, it is essentially a sketch comedy show featuring recurring skits that are acted out using 3D motion capture. The series' sense of humor is manic and nonsensical in a way that's pretty reminiscent of something like Pop Team Epic. But despite that series having a decent amount of fans and recognizability, Virtual-san wa Miteiru is effectively...
Okay, what I will say is I've never seen Pop Team Epic, but I know how zany it's supposed to be. I recognize so far almost all of the characters that are on the screen. I believe the one from the right is from Niji Sanji, and the one on the left is an independent named Alice. I've only caught one Alice stream and none of the Niji Sanji character on the right's streams.
Unknown, and received a pretty poor reception overall from viewers, at least from what I can tell. Honestly, that's not all that surprising though. This show was all but destined to fail outside of Japan. The growth of VTubers thanks to clipping, translation, and the explosive popularity of many English-speaking ones has caused them to become a constant presence within content creation and streaming for viewers worldwide. But that wasn't the case when the show started to air in January of 2019. At that point, I, and I assume most other people, was really only familiar with Kizuna Ai, and possibly Kaguya Runa.
Now, when I first got into the music side, was probably around 2020. I heard music from Kizuna Ai and Kaguya Luna, but I had never seen any of their videos. I just heard the music. I didn't know that they were VTubers at the time. In 2019, VTubers were not on my radar. I didn't get into VTubers until Hololive EN debuted.
I can't remember when I discovered her. It wouldn't be until I stumbled across Natsuhiro Matsuri's famous Band-Aid clip later that same year that I would start my downward spiral into the consumption of endless VTuber streams, clips, and collaborations. While Kizuna Ai does perform the first theme song of the show, neither her nor Kaguya Runa make an appearance, and without any context for any of the cast members, my interest in the show quickly faded after first checking it out. Looking back though, this cast is actually pretty stacked. Many of the most popular VTubers at the time are involved. Notably, this includes 2 of the so-called 4 Heavenly Kings of VTubers, Deno Shoujo Shiro and Mirai Akari. The first...
Okay, so 2 of the 4 Heavenly Kings were on this show, and I know people refer to the 4 Heavenly Kings whom I only know are now Akari, and I believe Kizuna Ai. Those are the only 2 I was familiar with, and I think Kaguya Luna I knew her music.
First generation Nijisanji
I never watched any
VTuber
of her
Tsukino
videos.
Mito and the patron saint of Hololive herself, Tokino Sora. And that's
Sora
just the
was on it
beginning
too?
of the many both recognizable and more obscure faces that make an appearance throughout the show. But none of this really would help with the series finding success in the
know who that
West,
is.
where the cast simply had
I don't know
little
who
to
that
no
is.
recognition value. And that's kind of a shame, because I think the reception of Virtual Sun Looking would have been better if it had aired a year or two later. This hunch comes from the positive reception of another VTuber show, Horonografichi. Every week, Hololive releases a new episode.
Oh, Hologra. Okay, I know Hologra. I have watched some of the episodes. They're zany and very nonsensical to me. I don't understand about half of the inside jokes, probably a lot of Japanese jokes in there, but I can understand why it was popular because it starred people that were making names for themselves at a time where people were just getting into VTubers en masse.
In this web series, and fans seem to love it. Like Bashor-san wa Miteiru, it plays on character personalities and running jokes to craft madcap fever dream comedy scenarios.
Fever dream,
It
that's a
actually started
really good
airing extremely soon after
expression for
Virtual
it.
Sun ended, and I'd be shocked if it wasn't at least partially influenced by that and Pop Team Epic. However, there are a variety of differences between Hologra and Virtual Sun. Hologra has short episodes that don't overstay their welcome, seems to be more scripted, and also doesn't use motion capture.
No,
The
it's
key
like
difference,
MMV
though,
or
is
something.
an external one, the familiarity of Hololive members. While this is just an anecdotal
Exactly.
observation, and I don't have any hard numbers to back it up, it seems clear that Hololive is simply more popular worldwide than anyone in Virtual Sun was at the time. And if it released later, it probably would have
I don't know her
benefited
at
from the
all.
wider attention
Zero,
on some
right?
of
Her
its
name is
casts
Zero?
and on VTubers as a whole. Don't get me wrong, Bachora-san wa Miteiru isn't some hidden classic or anything. Honestly, I don't even feel like I would recommend it super strongly. I'm not a huge fan of Horogra or Pop Team Epic, really, and I think Virtual Sun shares their biggest issue. They're just inconsistently funny. Even with all of the wild behavior happening on screen, the show can simply be boring. But
You know what's funny is when you watch the show without any sound or context, it is one of the funniest things to watch because they are just they're like monkeys. They dug on move funny, they say funny things to make each other laugh and stuff. But when you watch it with the context, in my head, it should make sense because I know the characters, but I don't know what they're talking about half the time. And it's a real shame. It gets lost on me as a Western audience member.
it does have its moments, and I do think it gets more interesting as it goes on, with the recurring sketches
was
throwing in
great.
curveballs and new ideas coming into the picture. Photogara is generally better though. Its brevity and rapid pacing make it easier to get through, and more likely you'll run into a punchline you like sooner rather than later. Virtual Sun Looking is most interesting as a little time capsule of VTubing 4 years ago. Many of the participants in the show are still active, but many have also retired since it aired, and the landscape of the most popular creators has changed drastically since then. A significant amount of the most successful VTubers now, and a lot of my favorites, hadn't even debuted yet. So despite it airing so relatively recently, the cast of the show can all kind of be considered OGs at this point. If you're interested in earlier VTubers,
It's very interesting to me. I don't see Sora in the lineup. I know they said Sora was in this group. I see Akari. I'm assuming that was Alice on the left. And then the Niji Sanji member in the middle. I apologize. I don't know her name. I don't recognize the one with the cat ears. And then is the one with pink hair Luna and the one with blue hair Shiro, right?
or the history of Vtubing, it may be worth a look. Since all of the episodes follow a nearly identical format,
I
you'll
feel
know
like I
basically
recognize the
after
one
the
with Peanut
first
Head,
whether it's
too.
worth continuing.
I've seen
As
them
for me,
somewhere.
well, it was interesting, but honestly, I'd rather have just caught a live stream.
Very interesting. Thank you. It really didn't give me a whole lot of information on Akari, other than the fact that she had a debut as one of the mainstream streamers of the time, which is important because that kind of vaulted her for some degree into a status of I started as an OG. So I thought that was pretty cool. Next is Mirai Akari's Effect on VTubing by Kei-san. Now I know Kei-san, she's one that I followed for a long time. The fact that she was able to talk to Akari and give us some insight into how maybe Akari affected her is very important to me to understand her. And yeah, I see she's actually going to be graduating the 27th. She's graduating, I think, today or tomorrow. I think the countdown I saw for her graduation, which I'm going to have to attend because I like supporting people and VTubers especially. And I feel bad whenever any of them leave, whether it's personal reasons, health reasons, they're just moving on to become something different. They find that VTubing isn't for them, or they were bullied out, which is the worst case scenario. I feel like they deserve support.
5周年ですよ皆さん。そもそも土台として作っていただいた方なので、本当に
Foundations of Vtubing.
もう未来あかりから始まって広がってったこの世界は
5 years. That's a long time in the VTuber world.
VTuber っていうものを広げてくださった土台の人たちが報われない世界ではあっちゃいけないと私は思うんですね。絶対に。
ああ、なんだよ今日。ありがとう。
やっぱり世界に貢献してくださったっていう意味では天皇と言われたんです。
She still uses a 2D model too.
いやいやいや、もう全然四天王じゃないんだよ私本当に。なんか四天王って言われるたびにね、申し訳ねえと思って。
Oh, she got a cute voice.
VTuber のファンのみんな、土台を築いた人こそやっぱ一番いい思いをしてなきゃいけないんですよこの世界は。私はそう思う。
なんだよこれ、泣く企画じゃないんだけどこれ。
なんでだよ。今すごい救われて
ます。
未来あかり氏を見て
Kei-san really does have that charisma though. Kei-san has that charisma and that ability to speak to people, especially one-on-one, where she can really pull at heartstrings, get people laughing, get people collaborating, where other people are afraid to approach others for collabs. She's not afraid to, and I love Kei-san for that. And I don't know if Akari and Kei-san were friends before this stream, but I can understand how Akari would feel embarrassed, especially from all the praise that Kei-san's giving. And most notably for me, the fact that Kei-san looks up to her and I look up to Kei-san for her ability on screen to project herself tells me a lot about how much respect Mirai Akari deserves.
人もいますし、その人たちを見て VTuber を始めた人がいますし、結局未来あかり氏がいなきゃ始まらなかった世界なんですよ。
Is she being a comedian or is she really crying? It's hard to tell.
あかり氏がね、いなきゃ始まらなかった世界がね、今こうやって爆発的にね、みんなこう VTuber っていう姿があるから救われたっていう、うちのV 少女のアイロンマウスちゃんっていう、
yeah. Iron Mouse. I know about her story a little bit.
行くよあかり。
すごい本当重い病気で本当に家から出られなくて、でもだから VTuber っていう姿を手に入れてそこで暴れ回って、そういうのはV の人とかを見てそういう世界を教えてくれたんだっていう風に
Very eloquently put.
私憧れた人
I
が
have
出
to
てくる
say.
わけなんですよ。あかり大先輩が作った土台のおかげで。そうなんです。
Oh, I can already tell that this last stream of hers is going to be a cry fest.
私に憧れた人がいるのって、まああかり先輩ですとか、先日さんのね、方々がおったからなんです。からなんです。ここが救われてない世界なんていけないと思います。
いけないと思います。
しかもなんか新しいことを 始めるときって絶対いろいろ叩かれたりするじゃないですか。
Now, like I said, I read the wiki page before watching these videos, so I know a little bit about what her condition is, but it seems like she's having to leave for health conditions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it said that the reason why Akari has to stop is because of health conditions.
ですか。で、やっぱ一番最初にその VTuber っていう世界をやった人って、なんかやっぱりアニメが動いてるとかなんかこういろいろ言われたと思うんですよ。そのバッシングを受けてもずっと続けてきた人たち。
Really does feel like an actual really moving anime character on the screen reacting to people. And that's I think why VTubers are so popular, because we're big into anime, right? If you're not big into anime, but you're big into VTubers, you should try anime out.
でもそのじゃあもしそうだと
And vice
しても
versa.
そこに家を建ててくれてテーマパークを作ってくれて、そこにたくさんの人を呼んでくれたから、だからあかりもケイソンも他の部員のみんなも頑張ってる。
頑張ってるんです。だからこそ未来あかり氏も未来あかり氏だけじゃないです。もうみんなね VTuber っていう世界に貢献してみんなね楽しく一緒に頑張っていけるような環境をね作らなきゃいけないと思うんです。
いや本当に
そのためにもやっぱ私未来あかり氏に今必要なのはたくさんのお友達を作ること。
ですよね。はい。そうだね。コラボをねずっとあんまりできなかったから。はい。もちろん。
And what she just said there, where she hasn't been able to do a lot of collabs. I did watch that video where she started a project with a lot of different VTubers who've gone on to do their own thing and become popular. And I think collabs actually help people grow, not just because you have two different communities that may not overlap coming together and be like, well, you know what, this VTuber is actually very fun to watch too, but also it helps you socially. Once you start networking with other people, it's amazing how fast a community can grow from that. You know, I obviously am just a reactor, so I won't be doing a lot of collabs, but it's really interesting to see how interacting with others has become the norm for like the HoloLive community now. You know, they debut people in generations, and because they debut in generations, they have multiple people they can ping off of. Different communities that may not overlap that tend to watch one person or another because they have likes of that person's personality or game style or talking style or voice or whatever. And then when they come together, it's very interesting to see how they decide, you know what? I didn't give this person a chance. I'm under that umbrella. I never gave a lot of VTubers a chance, not because I didn't have any aversion to watching them. It's just I wasn't exposed to them. And now I'm getting a chance like this video to understand a little bit about a VTuber that I had no clue about before. And it's really fun to see how she understands that, how Kei-san understands that, and is trying to convey that to Mirai. And hopefully give her an understanding of where she could go if she decides to do something else in her life other than VTubing. The networking thing is amazing.
一人だけでね、いろいろできるんで、でもね、みんなでなんかやることで、そこで事故や事件が起こって、それが
Yeah, exactly. You never know you're gonna get an amazing pawn moment.
出来事が起きたりするもんね。
そうなんです。
それが面白いんだよね。
やっぱね、未来あかり氏はやっぱそのバックについてる巨大な企業のおかげで、そういうトラブル
The Clippers love collabs
放送
too.
事故からは逃れてきたと思うんですよ。
逃れちゃうからこそ自分で放送事故を起こすしかないんだよね。これ自分で言うのはちょっとあれなんだけど、
So
とても
true.
ダサいんだけどさ、こうなんか
You gotta create
何もな
moments.
さ綺麗に行こうと思えばいけるのよ。でその動画とかさできるんだけど、これだと綺麗すぎるから事故を起こさなきゃいけないってなるんだよね。一人だと。プロとして自作自演をしておりまし
It's a
た。
cute laugh.
申し訳ございません。
いやいや、これがね、人と一緒だとね、勝手に起こるんですわ。
そっかー。ケイソンみたいに友達できるかな。コミュ障だからさ、結構大人数だと
私もコミュ障です
喋
からね。
れない。本
だからお互いのこういいところを よ。こう。
Yeah, okay, so Keisan, I don't know if she's being demure, she's being shy about it or humble about it, but I feel like Keisan does not have communication problems. She really doesn't. She may be an independent person, but she has no problem collaborating with people outside of the normal group, and in incorporating people that need exposure rather than people who already have exposure and are at her level.
買っていきましょうよ。結構、海外個人部員の人とかは、もうみんな気軽にコラボとかして、
結構対マンでやるの？
もう対マンだったり、大人数だったり、例えば、私が突然、未来あかり氏に配信中深夜とかに電話して、で、未来あかり氏の寝起きボイスを、放送で流したって、うわ、これ放送事故だよみたいなやつとかも、普通にコンテンツとして面白いじゃないですか。
確かに面白い。
Thank you, Yura. You are an amazing clipper. I am so happy you caught that and that I could react to it. Now, the last video that I'm going to be watching of Mirai is her MV of Mirai Voyage, which I assume is an original song. And I'm looking forward to it now. I have a little more insight into Mirai. I know just the tiniest little sprinkle of lore based on the fact that she was a time traveler, and the journey that she's taken for 5 years, where she became a VTuber, became one of the 4 heavenly kings that people talk about, that launched so many other careers after her and so much inspiration. She's got an adorable voice. That's a big ship for one person to be on. It was almost like an anime opener, the way that it's doing the camera angles and everything. Wait a minute. Are these all her friends? That's Yofi, right? And Sora I definitely recognize. Oh, I don't want to stop it. I don't want to stop it. I saw all these different people and it hit me so hard. It's like I'm calling my friends to help me sing this song of happiness and adventure, that almost like a thank you. That's what it feels like in this video. I don't know when this video came out. I thought it was her debut video or something, but if it has Eofi in it, right? It can't be that old. Oh wow. Oh, it's going through like her whole life. my god, why am I sad? This isn't fair. This is like more like a graduation video. She's going through her whole career and almost is celebrating the life that she's led as a VTuber. I don't know the lyrics. I wish I understood the lyrics because I'm sure that it would hit me more. But wow. The camera is lending so much more emotion too. It's great camera work. Okay. Oh, this is great. This is the energy that I think she's had throughout her career, hasn't she? You can just tell that she's always had this kind of energy. This song is inspirational. What a beautiful little adventure. I have to assume that those are whom she holds as her closest friends, or people she's done the most work with. Oh, beautiful. I think I've pretty much said everything that was on my mind when I was reacting to these videos and this MV. I'm glad that I chose natural light instead of my my front light today, so you didn't see the tears streaming down my face. But I never expected this video to hit me so hard emotionally. I don't think I would have had the same reaction if I didn't know the person, or hear her voice talking, or hear about the journey that she's had, or the influence that she's had over the last 5 years to the VTuber community. I didn't want to do a goodbye video to Mirai because I didn't know the person. And in the short span of the couple of videos I've watched, I feel like I understood enough, and also understanding that when a person retires or graduates from the VTuber community, it's a long goodbye to that character. People spend a lot of time getting to understand and know the VTuber, and when you have to say goodbye to somebody permanently, that hits you. I remember when Coco graduated, I felt the same way. She was the one that really launched my my interest in VTubers in general. And then around the time that I got into Coco, the Hollow EN Gals debuted, and because they were all English speakers, I was able to understand a lot of the jokes that were shared, and for me, on the VTuber side, it was more of the comedic insight and inside jokes, where with Mirai, it feels more like it's a journey of being this entertainer that has grown a community for a very long time and started a lot of careers, a lot of prolific careers in the VTuber community, by the way. I have to assume Kason was probably inspired by her, more than vice versa. And the fact that she was friends with Sora way back in the beginning actually feels kind of justified, you know? So, I don't know who Zero is, and I know she's the last of the 4 remaining Heavenly Kings as they refer to them. It'd be interesting to see something from her before she disappears as well. I'm not sure exactly why they're called 4 Heavenly Kings, other than the fact that it's like a exalted status for people who came before everyone else. That's really the gist of what I understand from Heavenly King status. But I think that she deserves it, and I am happy for her that she's finding something else in her life, and I'm sad for her that she has to leave behind such a legacy, and hopefully will not be forgotten. I'm glad that people call her one of the 4 Heavenly Kings, even if she doesn't feel like she deserves it. That'll give her some kind of subliminal memory in people's minds. Thank you in the comments for recommending her to me, and I look forward to finding out more about these VTubers before they go. There are a couple more that are graduating, and I'd like to at least send them off or see one of their videos before they graduate as well. So I'll make that a point. That's all I have. Stay chill.